Alrighty, today we're going to finish out Kyotober with something a bit different and a bit of a detective story to get this whole thing going. Big Mo's Toys Trench Truck Engineering today. Now, some of you may actually remember hearing about this set some years ago. In fact, Bald Matrix had this very set reviewed in 2015, so that's how long it took me to figure it out. But essentially they are still selling it on both Amazon and eBay for $40. So obviously you saw that I got the whole 5 set, but it's these two here that got me interested in looking in the first place. See, as I was looking on the vast array of bizarreness that is eBay unofficial Transformers, I came across an interesting site. Interesting in that it seemed to show these particular toys that are recommended for ages 3 and up being photoshopped in with like toddlers. Thinking something was a little weird, and yet not having an exact name for what this figure is set to look it up, I ordered these two figures. Yeah, so you can see I have the dump truck and the front loader here. And as I looked at the pictures further, it looked like they had combining elements, but I couldn't find out for what. Anyway, these showed up. I got the name of the trans truck. Looked it up online, and sure enough, there they were. Although I've only ever, on the site it was, I can't quite remember where it is, I only was able to find 4 of them, not the 5. It wasn't until I found the correct name for it that I was able to find Big Mo's Toys and all 5 figures at once. But still, from what I've heard, these seem to be of relative quality, if a little goofy, particularly in the combined mode. So we're going to have ourselves a little look for ourselves, see if the engineering still holds up. And, well, we're going to find either way. Let's see here. Starting off with the dump truck here. Let's see here. I'm not too sure if there's supposed to be... the way it's that these letters here are supposed to be situated, it's hard to tell if this is 3 or 4. Or is it or just DEM or DEMO, but it does. It's a model truck and it's got die-cast components in it. Super combined, super trans, super fit. Collect 5 kinds, super fit morph. Okay. And that's suitable for children under 3 years. Again, I found these photographed with a toddler. The sad onion there. Recycle the packaging. Well, at least they're giving that as a suggestion. And obviously made in China. If that wasn't clear already, there you go. And now it says it has built-in instructions. That doesn't sound quite right, so I'm hoping that it means that the instructions are in here. We're going to find out shortly. Ironically, with the 5 set here, the instructions for all 5 are included, but it is all on one sheet. For transforming all 5 into vehicle mode and getting all 5 into the combined mode, it's all kind of on a couple sheets of paper. It might even be a double-sided sheet of paper. Why am I saying this when I can bloody well look for it? Okay. Okay. So I was wrong there. It's actually several more like a tiny loose leaf booklet, but it's still a little weird. Okay, so I got one of them transformed via the instructions, and oh dear, this is gonna be a mess, isn't it? Well, we'll find out if it's the same sort of mess as with this one. Let's start by untabbing. It looks like I tab it anyway, and folding these back. Do these even plug in? Okay, so let's lay these out like that. Okay, then come back here, slide and this forward. Do not trust a single one of these joints. They just feel bad. Okay, there's that and that. And okay, let's try separating the legs and then okay, that worked. Amazing. Okay, then pull these down and outward. Bring this. After plug that like so. That way, hold this whole thing down. Okay. Then let's see. Sorry if I'm not being talkative on this. It's just trying to get this right is very weird with construction and with something unknown. Okay, then fold this part out and yeah, that is that, but a little less floppy. Pretty much sad, to be honest with you. Now, can I just slide this down a little bit, make it a little yeah, that part's broken off. There's that package, as you saw, so not much I can do there. Okay. But yeah, that's the same figure. Better or worse. Okay, so comparing the two figures, the head does not do anything. The shoulders are weird. They do have rotation, and the arm goes outward, but now that you do have some excellent articulation in the elbows, but it's so floppy that you're not going to want to use it. And the wrist goes inward. That's so you can have them looking smugly confident or just angrily looking at something. So now legs are on a stem joint. There is ratcheting there for all that's worth. Impressive knee bend there. And if you want toe bend, you kind of have to undo the foot. So there is articulation there, but it's not. But it's nothing real groundbreaking. Okay. Okay, in the interest of time, I think we're just going to speed this up and just show everybody in their vehicle mode. And then just jump to the robot mode, because otherwise we're going to be here for a while. And this is already turning into a very bizarre situation. And when I took everyone out of the box, found this bit out already. Not too sure if it's one of the part of the figures or not. We're going to find out. Okay, and here we have the whole team. I would say their names at this point, but they are literally just named after their vehicle modes. Although it's this one, the dump truck is just known as Dumper. Make whatever joke you will on that one. But each of them seem to have different issues at some point or another. The excavator here, you may have noticed that there is one safety rail because the other one has snapped off. So, yeah, there's that bit of awareness. Haven't yet found the exhaust for this. Yeah, this goes to. But it doesn't look like it actually goes to any of them, which is weird. As even weirder that this whole affair has become. But overall, the front motor seems to have gotten off a little bit more than the dump truck has. Everybody else seems to have fewer problems, aside from broken parts, obviously. So we're going to get this team in the vehicle into robot mode and see if that changes. Well, okay, here we have the entire team. And there's something, all right. They're not as bad as the dump truck that came with, because there's nothing so loose it's unusable, or broken parts. Well, anything that's majorly affects transformation anyway, but every one of them's got something weird going on. I mean, there's that, because because of the torso, he's so top heavy, he can barely stand up. This front motor, because of the way he transforms, he's not just kind of has floating arms. And it also ends up the shortest one. Fortunately, he does end up an arm himself, otherwise this would be rather weird. So now the crane truck, in addition to looking like he constantly has to go to the bathroom, seems to have been misassembled. And the feet are, well, not very tight. And in fact, any of their heads, other than the excavator. Okay, his doesn't, because it's. Come on, man. No. Okay. So aside from the excavator, none of their heads rotate. And you have to kind of guess as to which is the main robot head versus the combiner head. Because there you have this, or this. And the instructions are not particularly helpful. I've seen it go both ways. So take your pick of which one you want to use, and just use the other one for the combiner. For the cement mixer, he seems to come the best off. Though his guns are permanently molded in his hands. Rather neat transformation quick draw trick. The die-cast is actually in the feet, which is relatively helpful. And oddly seems the best proportioned out of all of them. So if you do just want to pick up this one, well, it's hard to say, because obviously not everything's going to be going correctly here because of the nature of it, and obviously the chest is a little bit funky. It's supposed to be like that, or is it resting like that? The chain gun on top is a nice touch, however. And this one seems to have a nice permanent scowl going on, so there's that. For the crane truck, it seems to be the most actually like a Constructicon, but that's not a real big surprise there. So obviously they all seem to have their own little nitpicks and issues, and loose joints and broken parts, but they are at least interesting, especially considering that this was kind of where the wave started to break for a third party, and as opposed to trying to do something interesting or different, they just went on this whole tirade of Nick G1 after that. Pretty much where they went to. But so actually seeing this, it's very peculiar and obviously of very varying quality. but it is at least different and interesting enough so that if you do want one, it's out there. Just don't expect miracles. Alrighty, so that just leaves the final event of this, the combine mode. Again, I'm going to do this off camera because I have absolutely no idea how well this is going to go, or even if I'm going to be able to get there. But you'll find out either way. Here we go. Okay, and here it is. And whoo, boy, is it something else. Is it good? Not really. Is it the worst thing ever? Well, no. Is it full of diecast? Yes. Is that a good thing? In places. Does it have loose joints? Plenty. Oh, yes. I'm a bit surprised this thing's actually standing at this point. Okay, can it stand? Yes, it can do that relatively well. Can it move? Not in any significant way or a way that you'd want to. With the loose joints already on this thing, it's a bit of a chore just to get it to even stand. I would not want to even try moving it. And yes, for some of you that realize that the arms are backwards, but if you're really that upset about it, you'll get your own and do your own review. Now, for a lot of big questions. At 40 bucks, is it really worth it? Well, it comes in a nice cardboard box. It is relatively competent. But as I've suspected, the mold degradation has not helped in the 5 years this thing has been out. The diecast is a nice touch, and at $8 a figure it is certainly something. When, at the time of this, back in 2007, when deluxes were $10 each, it's certainly a neat idea. So it is, at the very least, a curiosity for some, or a funny joke for other people. Whether you think this is actually worth your time and money is entirely up to you. I know I'm going to be putting each of these figures back in vehicle mode and keeping them in the box, because I don't know how much more of this it can stand. Figuratively and literally. Anyway, this has been KO-tober. I am the Deceptiwolf, and I bid you good night.